Ever looked at something so ridiculous like that it loops all the way back around to being genius? We're diving headfirst into the world's weirdest tourist spots. The ones that make you ask, why does this exist? And then secretly make you want to visit. From a museum that celebrates bad art, to a spa that makes you bathe in beer. These places prove that dumb ideas sometimes bring the smartest kind of fun. Welcome to the most pointless tourist attractions on Earth. The Museum of Bad Art, Massachusetts, USA. Most museums celebrate perfection, balance, and beauty. The Museum of Bad Art does the exact opposite, and that's precisely why it works. Located just outside Boston, this unusual museum proudly curates artwork so genuinely terrible that it becomes unforgettable. Faces appear warped beyond logic, anatomy defies biology, and color choices feel like emotional accidents frozen on canvas. Yet none of it is satire. The museum has strict rules. The art must be sincerely bad, not intentionally humorous. What began in 1994 with one painting rescued from a trash bin has grown into a collection of hundreds of works, rotating through exhibitions that draw thousands of curious visitors each year. People don't come to laugh at the artist, they come to laugh with the idea that failure is still creative. It's ridiculous, inspiring, and strangely comforting. Proof that imperfection can still earn applause. Bubblegum Alley, California, USA. Imagine a narrow alleyway so completely coated in chewed gum that the original walls no longer exist. That's Bubblegum Alley in San Luis Obispo, a place where decades of human saliva have turned into an accidental art installation. It began quietly in the 1950s when students stuck gum to the wall while waiting in line nearby. Over time, the tradition exploded, transforming the 15-meter tunnel into a sticky mosaic of names, hearts, dates, and messages from travelers around the world. City officials have tried repeatedly to clean it, only to watch tourists rebuild it within days. It's unsanitary, slightly smelly, and undeniably gross. Yet people line up to add their own contribution. Somehow, what should have been vandalism became a landmark, proving that humans will bond over even the strangest traditions. Toilet theme park, Suwon, South Korea. In Suwon, South Korea, there's a place where bathroom humor meets civic pride. The Mr. Toilet House and theme park is entirely dedicated to toilets, sanitation, and the cultural importance of plumbing. Founded by a former mayor who believed proper sanitation represented human dignity, the park features poop-shaped sculptures, toilet statues, interactive exhibits, and a museum that explains how hygiene transformed public health. Children laugh uncontrollably, adults pretend they're only there for educational reasons, and everyone leaves oddly informed. Beneath the jokes lies a serious message about modernization and disease prevention. It's childish, educational, and strangely meaningful. Proof that even the most embarrassing subject can flush its way into cultural relevance. World's largest ball of twine, Kansas, USA. In 1953, a Kansas farmer named Frank Stober decided to do something nobody asked for. He began wrapping twine around a core and simply never stopped. Decades later, his creation weighs over 20,000 pounds, measures more than 40 feet around, and holds the Guinness World Record for the largest ball of twine made by one person. What truly elevates it from pointless to powerful is the community behind it. Locals adopted the ball as their identity, adding to it during annual festivals and celebrations. It serves no practical function, solves no problem, and yet became a symbol of patience, persistence, and small-town pride. Sometimes dedication alone is enough to turn boredom into legacy. Beer Can House, Houston, Texas, USA. While most people recycle beer cans, John Milkovich decided to build history with them. Over nearly 2 decades, he used more than 50,000 empty beer cans to decorate his home, covering walls, fences, ceilings, and even crafting wind chimes that sparkle in the Texas sun. Neighbors thought he was eccentric, if not completely unhinged, but the aluminum reflected heat, keeping the house cool, and slowly tourists began to arrive. What started as a hobby transformed into folk art, and today the Beer Can House is a protected landmark. It's shiny, noisy, and completely unnecessary, yet undeniably creative. Proof that even a long-term hangover project can become cultural architecture. The Big Pineapple, Nambour, Australia. Australia has a habit of building massive versions of ordinary objects, and the Big Pineapple might be the most beloved of them all. Standing nearly 50 feet tall, this fiberglass fruit was built in 1971 to promote local pineapple farming. The farms eventually declined, but the pineapple remained, cementing itself as a roadside icon. Visitors climb inside, explore a small agricultural museum, and take photos that require no explanation, because none exists. It doesn't teach much, doesn't solve anything, and yet people adore it. Sometimes, scale alone transforms the ordinary into unforgettable. The Hair Museum, Avanos, Turkey. What began as a sentimental gesture slowly evolved into something unforgettable. In Avanos, a pottery artist once kept a lock of hair from a departing friend. Visitors found it touching and added their own strands. Today, over 16,000 pieces of hair cover the walls of a cave museum, each labeled with a name and date. Twice a year, random names are drawn and winners receive free pottery lessons. It's part memory vault, part art installation, and part mild nightmare. Yet it represents connection, nostalgia, and human ritual, proving that even the creepiest traditions can grow from sincere beginnings. Paris Sewers Museum, Paris, France. Beneath Paris's romance and elegance lies something far less glamorous: its sewage system. The Paris Sewers Museum allows visitors to walk through real underground tunnels while learning how waste management shaped the city's survival. Massive pipes, historical tools, and exhibits reveal how sanitation prevented deadly outbreaks and supported urban growth. It smells, it's damp, and it's uncomfortable, yet deeply fascinating. Somehow Paris manages to make even sewage educational and oddly sophisticated. It's a reminder that civilization depends as much on what we flush away as what we celebrate above ground. Leaning Tower of Pisa, Piazza del Duomo, Italy. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is famous for one reason: it failed. Built in the 12th century, the tower began leaning almost immediately due to unstable soil beneath its foundation. Instead of fixing the mistake, the world decided to celebrate it. Millions of tourists now visit annually to take identical photos, pretending to hold the tower upright with their hands. The tower itself is just a bell tower. No special design, no unique function. Yet its structural flaw transformed it into one of the most recognizable landmarks on Earth. Engineers eventually stabilized it so it wouldn't collapse, freezing the lean in place forever. What was once an embarrassing construction error became Italy's most marketable mistake. Proof that even failure, when left long enough, can turn into legend. Hollywood Walk of Fame, Los Angeles, California. At first glance, the Hollywood Walk of Fame sounds glamorous. Stars embedded in sidewalks honoring the entertainment industry's greatest names. In reality, it's a crowded stretch of pavement surrounded by souvenir shops, costumed characters, and relentless foot traffic. Visitors search the ground instead of the skyline, stepping over names while dodging street performers and tourists doing the exact same thing. Many honorees paid for their own stars, and some recipients are barely remembered today. There's no ceremony happening most days, no performances, and no deeper interaction. Just concrete slabs and brass lettering. Yet people travel across continents to stand on a sidewalk and photograph a name under their shoes. Fame itself became the attraction, even when there's almost nothing to experience. Beer Spa, Prague, Czech Republic. In Prague, self-care comes with hops. Beer spas invite guests to soak in warm tubs filled with malt, hops, and yeast while drinking unlimited beer from taps beside them. The ingredients are real brewing components believed to improve circulation and soften skin, though the science remains questionable. What isn't questionable is the experience. You leave relaxed, slightly buzzed, and smelling like a brewery. It's indulgent, ridiculous, and unforgettable. Proof that relaxation doesn't always have to make sense. The Blarney Stone, Cork, Ireland. At first it sounds almost laughable. Millions of people travel to Ireland every year just to kiss a rock. The Blarney Stone is built into the walls of Blarney Castle, and according to legend, anyone who kisses it receives the gift of eloquence. But this isn't a simple kiss. Visitors must lean backward over a steep drop while holding onto metal rails as staff guide them into position. It's awkward, slightly terrifying, and undeniably unhygienic. There is no scientific proof the stone does anything at all, yet the line to kiss it can stretch for hours. People don't come for logic, but they come for tradition, bragging rights, and the story they get to tell afterward. A single rock, elevated by belief, became one of Ireland's most powerful tourist magnets. The world's deepest hole, Kola Super Deep Borehole, Russia. In a remote part of Russia lies one of the strangest attractions on Earth, a place where there is almost nothing to see. The Kola Super Deep Borehole is the deepest hole humans have ever drilled, reaching over 40,000 feet into the Earth's crust. Visitors who make the journey don't find a canyon or tunnel, but a simple sealed metal cap welded into the ground. That's it. The fascination lies entirely in what can't be seen. Scientists abandoned the project after encountering extreme heat and strange geological formations, fueling rumors and myths that still circulate today. People don't travel here for views, but they come to imagine the impossible depth beneath their feet. A hidden hole became legendary simply because of how far it goes. When you really think about it, none of these places needed to exist. And that's exactly why they work. Humans don't travel just for beauty or logic. We travel for stories, rituals, and the feeling of saying, I was there. And you've seen pointless places. Now get ready for pointless behavior. Hit the next video, the craziest things people did for fame, and prepare to question humanity. Once you start watching, you won't believe how bad it gets. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and keep exploring the strange side of our world with Oddly Abroad.